All right, we are officially live. We have the final exam. This is our last video excitement together. There's a sadness and a tear that is not falling from my eye, but it could be if it were sad. But you guys should be excited because you're moving on from grammar, and you get to do the exciting stuff of exegesis and interp, and now you get to go into the world of Greek text that makes you feel really small and insignificant. So this is the final. The final format is you have 2 pages, which total 45 questions or 45 vocab. Your vocab is going to lean fairly heavy on verbs, but that's not all. So there's a lot of other words, but fairly heavy on verbs. You get an entire page, about 15 parsings that you're going to walk through, and your parsings are going to be everything from imperatives to indicatives to infinitives. Participles are in there, subjunctives, those types of things. So you guys are going to have fun with that section. And then when we get to the grammar section, you can't forget about that stinky master verb chart, because it's going to poke its little head out again on this final, and it's going to say, hey, remember me? And you're going to go, no! So you have to remember the master verb chart. However, don't think that you're going to be asked the entire master verb chart. He's going to select just a few pieces of it, and you're going to need to know those pieces. So it might be best just to have the whole thing in your head so that you can select the pieces out. And then you are going to need to know, you remember as you went through the participles and the other aspects of verbs, you needed to know just those endings, the active and passive endings and forms of the participles. You're going to need to know those, because these are all going to be charts that you're going to have to fill in. So, and also he might throw in a verbal form and say, hey, here's a paradigm of luo in this verbal form, and he'll give you a hint of a couple of the forms, and he's going to say fill in the rest of the chart. So other charts, same thing. You're going to be given a word, and you can imagine that your last section was the me forms. You can imagine you're probably going to see a me chart, since you haven't really had those up to this point. And then you're going to really get into these grammar questions. He's going to ask you a lot of things in regards to the subjunctive. And you remember the subjunctive has this might, maybe type of thing, and there's a few words that really help you identify that a subjunctive is probably coming, and those types of things. So you want to be familiar with those. If you remember the infinitives, each one of these forms outside the indicative had something kind of unique to it. So the imperative, if you remember, the imperative is this strong command, and we don't have a regular ending for the second person imperative. So we've got, but the unique thing about Greek is that there is a third person imperative. It's not just you go do this, it's let them or shall they go do this. First person imperative doesn't exist because it's a hortatory. Subjunctive is actually what gives us that first person go. But if you remember, the imperatives kind of have that unique tote toson ending, and they've got their structure and their order, and they're usually at the front of the sentence. A lot of your non-indicative verbs have these unique things. If you remember the infinitive is unique because it doesn't always stand alone. Sometimes it's in a supporting role to another verb, but also the infinitive has this weird thing that when it's paired with a certain preposition, the preposition has to be translated a certain way. You may want to go back in your book and make sure that you remember every form, every preposition when it's attached to an infinitive with an article. How you translate those prepositions, what do they mean? So you do want to go back and review those types of things. And so you're going to want to know all those just unique little things about the subjunctive, about the infinitive, things like here's one, the subjunctive. What form is the subjunctive subject going to be in? It's not going to be in the nominative, right? The subjunctive its form is going to be the subject is going to be in the accusative. So it's just those little things that you need to make sure you have a handle on, because you're going to get some of those things in these grammar sections. And then we enter a translate. In your grammar section, you're going to have, if you remember, where we'll give you a word, and that word, he says, okay, now you're going to take this word and you're going to inflect it in the present, in the, this or that. Give it to me in the subjunctive. How would you put it in the subjunctive? How would you put it in the infinitive? How would you put it in the present, this, the aorist, that? And so you're going to need to be familiar. You're going to have to take a word and inflect it in those different things, knowing how those conjugations change the way you inflect the word. So that's your grammar section. Then you move on to your translation section. In the translation section, you guys, by this point, you're experts with the translation section, because you have a translation, and then you get to those crazy things like circle all the participles, circle all the infinitives or something in the sentence. You have to circle all those, and then you get those weird questions of, what case is this in? Why is it in that case? Which I can't tell you how many exams I grade where people just say, I don't know why it's in that case, but you need to be able to answer that question. Why is it in that case? For participles, when you circle a participle or something, you can be asked all the crazy questions like, how's it functioning? What type of participle is this? You can be asked antecedents for pronouns. Hey, how is this functioning? What is its antecedent? And so as you get through the grammar section or the translation section, you know good and well how you're going to be working through that. You've got to be able to pick apart the sentences. In the end, this exam isn't overly long. It's just reaching back and stretching through a whole sequence of information you haven't touched for a little while. So it looks like in the translation you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 translations, along with 4 or 5 different grammar questions with each translation. You have about 5 of those on this test, and then you've got a bonus translation that's worth 10 points for, and you get one of those. It's a fairly long passage, so take your time and work through it. Other than that, the exam is not overly long, and you should be able to answer all of the questions, because you guys have been doing a phenomenal job in Greek up to this point. So it's all my A students that sign on to this, but I know that everybody watches it. So really, that's it for format and structure. If you guys want to ask questions and start moving through specific pieces, let's do that. So this is where your mics either unmute or people start typing. You said the cat, Sharon? Okay. Are you guys actually with me? I can't chat. My mic is not working. I have a dog on it. Why aren't your mics working? Oh, your nickname is Cat. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Aaron's mic isn't working.
Aaron, unmute.
Aaron's mic isn't working. Shay's mic's not working, so I'm going on their chats. All right, Sharon. What do you got? Aaron, hold on.
No,
Aaron,
she can go. I'm still in study mode, so I'm kind of, I don't know. I don't really have a specific question, to be honest. I'm just kind of going through everything.
Okay, Aaron, hit me with your question. Okay, she says, what do you mean by the inflected meaning? How are those questions going to be again for the grammar section? Okay, let's take, for example, if I were to give you, say, like, pick a word like ditto me, the verb, okay? And if I just gave you that verb, I said, hey, here's ditto me. Now, can you inflect that as a present subjunctive? Can you now, once you've done that, can you now take that and make it an infinitive, attributive infinitive? can you take that and can you make it a perfect indicative? So, what do you mean you might go? What does that mean?
I think she's trying to answer what you just asked.
Oh, I might go. Okay, yeah, yeah. Ditto me. I don't think is go, right? Isn't that I give?
Yes, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Just want to make sure I wasn't nuts. So
Isn't he going to talk about the I don't know how to say it, but some kind of forms where you have to say like use those words because and um might what is it's a sheet he gave us.
okay, you guys received the sheet.
It just I'm trying to find it.
And yes, Aaron, to your question, Aaron asked, so I just have to inflect in English? Yes, one of your questions is going to give you a Greek verb, and then it's going to give you a series of tenses, voice, and moods that you have to put the English inflection on. So, yeah, there you go. So if I were to say, like, ditto me in the second person imperative, you would say give, you give, right? That would be your inflection. So you're just going to have to go through a series of those. It'll be the same word, you just inflect it different ways according to its conjugation.
The other uses of verbal what? The temporal means condition verb is result, cause, and concession.
Okay, is this with infinitives, Sharon?
Participles? Participles. Classification of adverbial circumstantial participles.
Okay. Yeah, you do want to be familiar with your participles.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, you do want to be familiar with those. But I don't think you want to spend your time in the details of those specific, like, because and things like that. They may come up in your translation section, but I don't think you're going to have a whole section on your grammar that says, hey, tell me how you would translate this way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, you do want to be familiar with that because when it comes to your actual translation section, you're going to run across participles that you may have to translate adverbally, and you need to know how to. So, like, you're talking about like temporal adverbal versus result or those types of things.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you do want to know that, but I don't think that's going to be like a make or break you on this exam.
Roger.
So, however, I repeat the fact that you probably want to peruse the chapter of infinitives, especially the section that talks about the prepositions with the infinitives. I'll say that a third time. You probably want to peruse the chapter of the infinitives. Okay. Aaron says, and in the translation question, what kind of preposition questions are we going to have? Okay. In the translation questions, let's look at this. What type of preposition questions are we going to have? Um, there's some, wow, there's some hard ones. Do you remember prepositions in the sense of like um, causal or instrumental or things like that? Yeah, something in regards to participles. Do you remember what he said in regards to participles, Aaron? Kind of? Okay. I really wish your mic were working. What chapter are participles? Does anybody remember? $27, maybe? Introduction to participles. Verbal side, adjectival side. Okay, maybe that's that sheet that Sharon is talking about that he gave you. If he gave you that sheet, you probably want to look over it. Yeah. Sharon, that sheet that you have, is it, what does it say in regards to participles in the prepositions? Sorry. Oh, that's Aaron. Hey, Aaron. This is Aaron, by the way. So go ahead, Aaron, with your question. Yeah, I'm trying to find that. Yeah, I'm trying to find the where it talks about that in the book, and I can't. Slash, I just did. So never mind. Page 279. But that's all in regards to genitive absolute. That's not. Oh, alternate translations of the participle. That's 281. That's instrumental, concessive, whereas a regular verb, right? But I still don't see where it's in regards to prepositions. There is one question under your translation section that asks about a preposition, and it asks whether it is functioning causally or instrumentally. And I guess that's in regards to participles. I just don't see it in the book.
What page are you on?
Oh, hey. I was on page 3 something, or 2 something, but is it adverbally or? He said, how is it functioning what? How is what functioning? The preposition? See, all right, so what chapter is adverbial participles? Do they even have a chapter on that? You guys do want to be up on your periphrastic constructions on page 280 and 281, by the way. So just make sure you look those over before your exam. But yeah, I understand. At this point, you've like made it a personal challenge.
Did you say adverbial participles?
Um, yeah, that's what I'm looking at, but
What are you trying to find?
I'm trying to figure out where, because you're saying that Dr. Briona said something about adverbial participles with prepositions,
Hmm?
and I don't see anything even remotely in regards to that.
I think that's what the chart I was just talking about too.
Okay, you were given a chart. Now, does that chart reference?
Sorry.
Say what now? Okay, hold on. It's a translation procedure, but how does the preposition come into that?
She's talking about the same thing I just asked about.
Right.
Hush.
Yeah, that's temporal, but I don't see how that brings in a preposition. Right. Is that just a sheet he gave you? Because I don't see it in the book.
Yes.
Okay, then I don't have any reference to this conversation at all because it's not in the book. This is information he's holding you accountable to because he taught it to you, not because it's in the book. So I'm not smart enough to answer that, but let me just tell you, I'm confused by a question on the exam, and I imagine that the answer to it is on that sheet, and I don't have the answer to it.
I just sent you a photo of it.
Oh, you just sent me a pic of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did.
That'll be good because you are getting asked on the exam about a preposition in regards to a participle, and it's asking how is it functioning? Is it functioning causally or minimally? Okay.
Yeah, that's on the sheet.
Okay. Well, then go over the sheet because that's not in the book, and I don't.
Concession, causal, result, purpose, condition, manner. Okay, yeah. Means temporal.
And you do need to know that because there are a few questions in regards to your translation that are going to deal with. It's mainly participial phrases. Or participles that are concessive, causal, those types of things. But the concessive and causal stuff, all that's in the book. I don't have the preposition stuff. So, but it's only like 2 or 3 of the sub questions under translation. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Aaron. All right. Bye. Okay. Hopefully everybody got that on the video. We've got a question about prepositions in regards to participles, and he apparently gave you all a sheet that you guys need to know, but it's not something you're going to find in the book. That sheet, I would suggest you knowing it. You're gonna come across at least the preposition question at least once, but it's not going to be a huge deal. It's just one of the questions worth a couple points, and you are going to need to know the concessive, causal, and all these translation aspects. And you're going to have to know how to translate it. Like, what does concessive mean? What does causal mean? And that all is in the book. The only thing I don't have is the participle one, but it looks like that's only one question, to be honest, is about the participle, or about the the preposition with the participle. So everything else looks like it's straightforward grammar questions. So you do want to go over those grammar things. If you can stretch back in your mind, the one thing you may want to review real well is, yeah, well, Aaron, we'll do parsing in a second. One thing you may want to go through real well is your adjectives. You remember the adjective tree? How is this functioning? An adjective can function in three ways. It can be substantival, which is taking the place of the noun. It can be attributive, where it's supporting a noun or describing another noun, or it can be happening predicatively, and that's when it's predicating in a predicating position. So you do need to remember those things and how you know when it's functioning. So that's going to be a kind of a blast from the past type of a thing. So you're going to be asked about relative pronouns, how they're functioning in the sentence, how are they functioning, what are they doing. So you have those grammar things as you translate. Other than that, you really don't. And if you remember that the adjective thing in the participle is actually because the participle is kind of a verbal noun, verbal adjective. I'm sorry, verbal adjective, and so it can function adverbally, attributively, substantive, or periphrastic. And if you remember, if it has an article, it cannot be adverbial. So, so anyway, that's but yeah. So the participle can function one of four ways. The participle can function in the adjective way of the three: substantival, attributive, not predicatively, but you do have it kind of replaces predicative with periphrastic. It can be a periphrastic construction, but it also can function adverbially. So, and so that's the main portions of your grammar section. Let us talk a little bit about the parsing section, and let's do some of that. All right, all right. Somebody want to nail that?
It's I guess I'm the only one that can say something.
Okay.
It's imperative,
Okay.
passive, imperative, passive, second singular, uh, from Crino,
No. Yep.
Crino, and
What's the tense?
oh, it's aorist. Sorry. Yes.
You said aorist, passive.
Imperative, aorist, passive, second singular from Crino, and it's what? Said it wrong?
No, you did it. That's good.
Oh, I was trying to inflect it.
You won't have to inflect on the exam, but that's good practice.
Roger that.
Roger that. That's really good, Sharon. You've been practicing.
I have. Thank you. Psi is a infinitive. I ending
All right.
from Geneo
Okay.
and Sigh, present, aorist. It's infinitive aorist from Geneo.
Yeah, but you got to give me voice.
Voice active.
Active. Good. So it is an aorist active infinitive from Gnao. Aaron asked the question if you had to inflect on the master verb chart, and that's a negative. You do not have to inflect on the master verb chart. You just need to fill in the info. Okay? Let's keep doing this thing.
Common future. They don't. Oh, no. They don't. I need help. Is this Dito? Dito my?
Yeah.
I think you're
Okay.
right.
So, uh, I'm in future. Oh, crap. I know it's it's no, it's not. It's first person plural
Good.
and ka aorist in the didomai. No, wait. Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah.
Where'd you go? It has a redo.
Kind of redo.
It has a redo, so it is future. Dido comment. Yeah, that's it. Errors. I need some help. Guys, anybody typing? Did I
It's,
get it?
it's perfect.
It's
It's
perfect.
perfect.
Because the redo was with an epsilon.
You
That's right.
had me talking about myself this whole time, and you could have been on here helping. Look at that. I still love you.
Yeah, this right here, you
I
know,
see it. It's perfect. My bad. Okay, that's what I meant.
that epsilon there tells you it's perfect. So both the aorist and the perfect use ka, but the aorist doesn't have the redo. It
It
just has
has an augment.
right.
Right.
And the redo happens in both the present and the perfect, but the present is the iota, didomi, whereas the perfect is dedoka.
I haven't gotten there yet. I was working on other stuff. I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
I remember this. Perfect first.
And a couple of the verbs like this, they may use sigma alpha aorist, which is a little frustrating.
Right. Yeah, and so you have to remember that. And then the sigma was yeah, Aaron, perfect active indicative first plural. Yep, you're right. Um, yeah, the some of them they switch. It's you really do have to know when you get into those me words. You really just have to know the word. That's why Mounts put them back there is because they don't actually have a good pattern. So some of them use the sigma alpha aorist ending. Some of them use the ka. Some of them they kind of do what they want out there, which is why Greek dropped them eventually. All right. I don't know what that dot is under my epsilon. It's not supposed to be there, above my epsilon.
Imperfect. Second singular. Active indicative.
Good. From what word?
Didomi.
Didomi. Yes.
Me.
All right. You guys are killing this. You don't even need this review. Uh, Aaron asked if you could repeat that, Sharon.
Imperfect. Second singular. Active indicative. States. Future.
Is it future passive indicative, third person singular, from Decima?
It is. Future passive. You see that face? It gives it away. And from Decomai. Okay. This one's a fun one. Aaron says aorist active infinitive. And I'm going to say no. No to that.
So it's from Gnosko.
I would say you're correct. What are the markers you see?
It is Eris, right? Second plural. Eris. I see a augment. No. Yeah, I see augment.
Okay, there's something weird. It's a good thing we're doing this one. Remember, with these words like gnosko, there's something weird with them. There should be another feature in this word that causes you scratching your head. What is that?
The augment and the kappa.
The what?
The kappa.
Between the augment and the kappa.
Okay, but those tell you conflicting things, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, what do they tell you?
One's Eris and one.
Right? One looks aorist, the augment. The other one looks what?
Perfect.
Perfect. It can't be both. But you guys, knowing your Greek really well, know that sometimes in the perfect, words like gnosko do weird things, and they can't do a full redupe because that would be gnosko. Okay, and it doesn't want to do all that g.
Is
So
this doing vocalic?
I'm sorry.
Is this doing vocalic reduplication?
Right. So this is vocalic reduplication, and it's egno. So this is a redupe, even though it looks like an augment. This is just how gnosko redupes.
Wow, so it's perfect.
Yeah. So this is a perfect active
Second plural.
indicative second plural from gnosko.
Wow.
So that's a tough one. That's one you need to get in your head. When you see things that conflict like that in a word, you need to start thinking through, okay, that means something weird is happening, or this word does something special. And when you remember that the perfect has the vocalic reduplication, then you go, oh wait, I know what's going on. So that's one of those designed to get you. Have a little fun with you now.
Yeah, you picked an easy one there, brother.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's from Ginamai. That's one that Mounts uses a lot.
Yes.
Is aorist, middle, indicative, first person singular, Ginamai.
It's which person?
First person singular.
First person. Okay, I thought you said third.
Sorry.
First person. Now my question is why is that not deponent?
Because in the aorist, the lexical form is Ginamai. Oh, wait. You're right. It should be deponent, shouldn't it?
I think it should.
I think you're right.
I think I might have found a problem on the answer key for the exam too, though. So let me check that out real quick because I generally assume that they're smarter than I am. Yeah, again, a main is the lexical is the form in error, so that should be deponent. Yeah, I think that should be deponent. All right, boom. Aaron, you asked what is it? Did I give that to you? Did you get it? That last one is aorist deponent indicative, first singular from Genomai. So this one is aorist deponent indicative, first singular from Genomai. Why is it singular? Because because it goes main sa ta metha essa nta. So main is the first singular form ending for the middle passive endings, secondary endings. All right, who's got this one?
You're getting subjunctive on us.
Are you? So what do you got?
Third singular aorist subjunctive.
It is aorist active subjunctive.
Well,
Third
there's another
singular.
form too, isn't there?
Say what?
There's another form too that looks the same. Aorist middle subjunctive, second person singular.
Aorist what?
Is it the aorist middle, second singular that looks the same?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's on page 326.
I was almost there.
It's either third person singular is the subjunctive form of ace, or it's the second person singular ending mid subjunctive.
Right. You're right. So third singular of the second aorist, or the second singular of the middle. Right? So you're right. You don't know whether this is middle or you don't know which one it is. It could be middle second singular, right? Could be either. Good. Good detail catch, Eric.
Thank you.
Yep. Good stuff. Okay. Let's do one more, and then we'll call it quits on that. That weird thing in the middle that looks like a guy taking a poo, that's a kappa. What did I do?
Is that an aorist? Third plural aorist active indicative?
From what?
Dido, me.
Did him. Yes. Good. Good job. Yes, it's aorist active indicative third plural from didomy. So, good job, guys. You remember. Here, hold on. Actually, let's do one more for your benefit. This is the type of one that you make high schoolers say out loud and they giggle.
I'm sorry. That's the participle nominative masculine active onto. Yeah. What am I missing? Nominative masculine, active participle.
I need tense and number.
It's plural.
Okay, what tense?
Plural. Tense is, Montez is present on, is it present?
What's the root of the verb?
If it's present, then you need to know this. You need to know this verb in its lexical form. What is this verb?
I don't know that. I can't think of it.
The lexical form is SCO.
You're right.
Yes.
The lexical form is STO. Epsilon, sigma, theta, iota, omega. So this cannot be present, can it, Sharon?
Nope.
So what does that make it?
Okay. Theta. Square stop. There's a theta in there, so therefore.
No. What you need to be seeing, Sharon, is that this is a totally different root.
Okay, I'm lost.
Some words change their roots when they go from present to aorist.
Oh, change. Stem change. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I guess those stems. So this would be an aorist. You got everything else right. This would be an aorist active participle, nominative masculine plural from S to O.
Which means that eat, and Mouse was helpful because he pointed out that esophagus and the thog prefix there is for eating.
Eating.
Yeah, you're right. Esophagus.
Moe's a prefix John, or Moe's a linguistics junkie, so
There you go.
I've lived this for the last 30 years.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. STO is a tough one for everybody. But I think we reviewed some really tough ones, and I think you guys got it. So, any other questions? Shay, the answer to that one, to Fagantes, is aorist active participle nominative masculine plural from esthio. In esthio, just so you know, see the lexical form, I'll write it down. It is here. So, there you go. Any other amazing questions before we sign off? You guys are going to do great. Study late into the night and enjoy. You guys are awesome. If you ever need anything, you have my email, you have my stuff. This is not a formal thing for me. So if you ever have any questions about exegesis papers, about format, whether I'm actually formally your whatever it is, TA or not, you can always email me, talk to me. If you have a discourse analysis or if you have a paper you just want somebody to review for you, I have no problem with you emailing that to me, and I'll give you my raw thoughts on stuff like that. I may not be the best one for all of that, but if you just want a second opinion, sometimes I'm here. So whatever you guys need. You feel so technologically advanced after doing this tutoring? Great. I'm glad I can help you on some level. I hope it was Greek too. But anyway, guys, have a great evening. Have a great exam, and I appreciate you. So be good. Good night, goodbye, and enjoy everything.
Thanks, Joseph.
All right, later.
Thank you.